Once again, very good morning to all of you, all the participants school and in-house training program organized by Bhagalpur Sahodaya. I, Prashant Kumar, the STNC of Bhagalpur Sahodaya, welcome to all the participants. Today, the participant schools are Ramakrishna Vidya Mandir, Ranuchak, Bhagalpur, DAB Barari, JNB Nagarpara, Guru Kripa Academy Kalgaon, New Era Public School Munger, New Horizon School Bhagalpur, SVM Jamalpur, SVM Munger, Columbus English Academy Shahpur, Himalayan Academy Kalgaon. So, Bhagalpur Sahodaya welcome to all the participant schools. Today's first session is embracing multilingualism in the classroom. The presenter of this topic is Mr. Hira Kumar Singh. So I would like to call the Hira Kumar Singh to come onto the podium and start this very first meeting. Yes, please, Mr. Hira Kumar Singh, come on to the podium.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity of holding this session and talking with you on embracing multilingualism in classroom. Am I audible to everybody? Am I connected to everybody? Okay. So first of all, I don't need any introduction because you know me very well. I belong to you all. So without wasting time, we shall come straight to the topic. The topic is embracing multilingualism in classroom. I'm sure you will all have understood by now what the topic is. Embracing multilingualism in classroom. Question is, why embracing? Why the word embracing has been used? Why embracing? Why not using, adopting, or any other word? Why not employing? Why embracing? Embracing multilingualism in classroom. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Fine.
अच्छा, मतलब बहुत सारे भाषाओं का ज्ञान बहुत सारे
फैमिली से अटैच हॉस्टल स्टाफ नहीं कर सकते, वो एक प्रकार का फैमिली यहाँ का चलने लगा।
I request you. Yes. Embracing, the word embracing has been used. What does it mean? What does it mean to embrace?
आप मेरे बारे में पता करिएगा ना।
What does it mean?
हाँ, तो सब बता देगा।
To accept wholeheartedly. When you adopt anything, when you employ anything, when you use anything, it is mostly mental and physical activity. When you embrace, our heart, our emotions are involved. So it is high time that we embrace multilingualism in our classrooms. This is the call of the hour. Okay. So embracing multilingualism in the classroom is the call of the hour. I request, please switch off your mics. Everybody, please switch off your mics. so that I may be audible to you.
उसको ठीक से सब फर्स्ट एड
Please switch off your mic. I can hear a lot of background noise coming.
हाँ तो उसके लिए आप निश्चिंत रहिए सर। बस 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 वही होता है।
Okay, so I was talking about this topic, embracing multilingualism in classroom. The word embracing has been used because we have long neglected this tool. We have long neglected this resource. Most of the public schools are English medium public schools. We are asked to teach in English, in monolingual. And many public schools, English medium schools, they prohibit the use of first language, students' mother tongue. And they are forced, they are required to use English only in the school campus. And what problem does this cause? We shall discuss later on. So first of all, let us understand today's topic. Embracing multilingualism in classroom means using multiple languages in the classroom for the benefit of the students. Okay, this is the topic and we shall discuss in detail now. Sir. Slide नहीं होता यहाँ से करना गलती से इसको okay. So my dear teachers, we shall start with these questions. Let us look at these questions. First one, a person who speaks only one language is called, what is he called? A person who speaks only one language, what is that person called? That person is called monolingual. Monolingual. And I think monolinguals are rare species in the world. Mostly people have 2 or more languages at their repertoire. So a person who speaks only one language is called monolingual. Second question, a person who speaks at least 2 languages is called, what is he called? He is called bilingual. Third question, a person who speaks 3 languages is called, a person who speaks 3 languages is called trilingual. Trilingual. Okay? But a person who speaks more than 3 languages is called multilingual. So we are going to discuss multilingual today. But one thing we must bear in mind, most of us are not multilingual. Most of us are only bilingual. Particularly in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, we use 2 languages in public schools. One is English, second one is Hindi. Mostly we are bilinguals. And bilingualism is a part of multilingualism. Okay, so we can't be masters of all languages. Multilingualism means more than 3. India has 22 official languages and more than 3,000 dialects. We can't master them all. We speak 2 languages, so we are bilinguals. So why not use our bilingualism in our classrooms? There are various reasons. in our classrooms? Is it possible? Is it possible? Yes, it is very much for our taking. It is very much there, but we have not used this resource freely. We have used this resource quietly in a very secretive manner, because in English medium schools, we are supposed to use only English for teaching subjects like SST, science and maths. We are supposed to use only English. So now it is high time now. Can we use multilingualism in our classroom or bilingualism in our classroom? Is a moot question. Second one, why is it essential? Question is, why is it essential to use multilingualism or bilingualism in the classroom? Why is it essential? I would like to explain here that please tell me, any student who enters a school campus in any part of India, what does he carry to that campus? Which language does he carry to that campus? His mother tongue. In Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, in co-belt areas, mostly students carry Hindi. But once they are in the campus, they are required to use only second language, that is English. So the resource that they carry to the school, the assets that they carry to the school remains unutilized. And what we do, we impose a new language, a foreign language, language 2 on them. So they will have to start language learning all over again. They have already learned language from their early childhood, which is their mother tongue. But that is of no use because we have restricted it. And we ask students to use second language, which they will acquire, in which they are not so proficient. So this means that they will first learn the language, then they will learn the contents, then they will learn the subjects. So learning process will be longer and more difficult, more challenging, and they will face many artificial problems. Will this not happen, dear student, dear friends? Yes, this will happen. We can imagine, and we face every day. Lot of struggle is there in the second language. Now, question is, if we implement multilingualism in classroom, what are the roadblocks? What are the problems that we are going to face? What are the obstacles? There may be some obstacles. There may be, because language confusion may occur, overlapping may occur. Hindi is one language which is born out of a different culture. English language is another kind of language which is born out of another situation, another condition. They are two divergent languages. They are two different languages. We are poles apart. So sometimes we can't translate every paragraph in Hindi into English and from English to Hindi. These are the problems, but these problems can be sorted out. What are the opportunities? Opportunities are thousands, because we have, what is the best opportunity? The opportunity that a student has brought a language to the classroom, his mother tongue. A student has brought his language to the classroom, and this is opportunity for us. Excuse me. This is an opportunity for us, because we can use students' asset, students' resource in the classroom, in learning subjects. Okay. Now, how to go about this? I think many of you know very well. And as I told you earlier, that many of us use bilingualism in the classroom or multilingualism in our classrooms, even though we are asked to use English only. Because at times we feel that some amount of Hindi or some amount of mother tongue will make the topic clearer, and students will understand better if we use their mother tongue in the classroom. It would be in the fitness of the thing that we should use students' mother tongue or our mother tongue from time to time in teaching subjects like social science, like science and maths. It will not do any harm. So there are various techniques about this. I will be telling you more about this. How many of us are multilinguals? Mostly we are bilinguals. It is my observation, my personal experience tells me that most of us are bilinguals. No, we have some dialects, but dialects shall not be treated as full-fledged languages. They are dialects. Okay. Now, so finally, this is the definition of multilingualism. Multilingualism refers to the presence of several languages in a country. Now the question is India a multilingual country? Is India a multilingual country? Or India is a monolingual country? Who can say India is a monolingual country? India is a language-rich country. No country in the world has 22 official languages. 22 official languages. So India is a language-rich country. But in schools, students have to, their medium of instruction is English. These 22 languages are useless. They are not utilized. And the problem is that students will have to start language learning from the school level. And this creates a lot of problems for them. They will first learn the language, then they learn the topic. Because a language clothes a topic, and topic is hidden under the language. Then you will have to pass through the barriers of a language, then understand, get at the soul or the gist of the topic. This is the problem. So multilingualism refers to presence of several, and I think this is not our shortcomings that we have so many languages. We are rich. And why not use this resource for the betterment of our students, for their quick learning, for learning their subjects in classroom? So we should use this resource. Now, one fact, as I told you quite early in the beginning of the session, that bilingualism is a part of multilingualism. Most of our teachers, actually in my knowledge, I have found them multilinguals. Few of them are, most of the teachers in our community, teaching fraternity, I have found bilinguals. Few of them are multilinguals. So multilingualism is a part of, bilingualism is a part of multilingualism. We have to bear this in our mind. Bilingualism is a part of multilingualism. Now, moving on to the next thing. There are few facts, dear teachers, we should keep in mind. These facts are related to multilingualism, and we have to bear this in our mind. Number 2, every mother tongue starts with a speech. Remember, how did we learn Hindi in our childhood? Or how did we learn our dialect, Angika, Bhojpuri, Maithili in our childhood? How? A teacher was appointed. Did we attend any school soon after our birth to learn these languages? We caught these languages even when no one was teaching, because of the environment, because of our society, because of our family, our parents, our uncles, our aunties, our cousins, our siblings. We interacted with them and picked this language. So what started first? Did we start writing first? Or did we start speaking first? What happened first? A language starts with a speech. But with English, it is altogether a different ballgame. English does not start with our speech. It starts with reading and writing. Because English is not in the speech community, in our speech community. We don't come from a background where everybody speaks English. So every mother tongue starts with speech. Even English is the mother tongue of England or America. They start speaking English right from early childhood, because they pick this language quite early on. So it all starts with speech, not with writing. And this is the biggest advantage with mother tongue. Because we have already some base, some strength there. It is in our blood. It is running in our blood. We are so spontaneous and so natural with our mother tongue. So fluent and so quick to understand. So it is a huge resource waiting to be used. Learning of the second language is written based, in which correctness of the language outweighs its content part. Dear teachers, what language am I using? मैं कौन सी भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहा हूं? I am using English. I think many of my friends must be watching out what mistakes I made while speaking. But when I speak Hindi, nobody bothers about its correctness. Nobody. Once you start speaking English, you become tense, and those who are listening to you are also tense and judgmental, and they will start finding fault with you. Because we have made it such a precious, such a valuable language, because it is imported language, it is a foreign language. So it is mostly written based, and in this, when the language is written based, writing dominates the language. The correctness, grammatical correctness, is more important than what we are speaking. I mean the content part. When we speak Hindi, we are not so much bothered about the words that we are using. Sentence structure, grammar, we are bothered about what we want to tell others. Communication is important. But in English, correctness becomes important, and which makes us hesitant, and our communication is not free-flowing. So language overburdens thoughts. Thoughts are not important in using English. English words are important. How beautiful words, how big words, difficult words one can use. We talk of this फर्राटेदार English. कभी फर्राटेदार हिंदी हमने नहीं सुनी है. फर्राटेदार हिंदी बोलने वाले की कोई कीमत नहीं, लेकिन हमें चाहिए फर्राटेदार इंग्लिश बोलने वाले लोग, और उसको कहते हैं क्या फर्राटेदार अंग्रेजी बोल रहे हैं. हम इंग्लिश के टीचर हैं, लेकिन हम इस बात को भी महसूस करते हैं, हम भी इस प्रेशर में रहते हैं कि हमें फर्राटेदार बोलना है, नहीं तो हम इंग्लिश के अच्छे टीचर नहीं है. This is our mindset, and multilingualism will explode this mindset, will explode this myth that English is the language of the world and we can learn all good things through English only. English is very much there. This multilingualism has come into center place because of English. Why are we talking about multilingualism? It is because we have a second language, English. Otherwise, in India, nobody would have talked about multilingualism. English is an important subject, important language, no problem. It is, we have to accept this fact. But what happens with second language, that language becomes more important than thoughts and ideas. Communication in mother tongue is more spontaneous and natural. I have already pointed out, it is self-explanatory. I need not dwell on it anymore, and I should not waste your time. It is an established fact. Language and tradition and culture of a place are interlinked. Why is Hindi spoken in India, in northern part of India? Why is Tamil spoken in Tamil Nadu? Why is Telugu spoken in Andhra Pradesh? Why is Malayalam spoken in Kerala? Why not in West Indies? Why not in Spain? Why not in China? A language of a place has born out of its tradition and culture. And Hindi is our mother tongue in this part of our country because of the certain conditions prevailing here. Our lifestyle, our culture, our festivals, our art, our dance, our architecture, thousand things, our marriages. All these things are interlinked. A language is interlinked with our tradition and culture. English has come to India, but India could not become England because English was born in England, and England has a different tradition and culture. Without understanding this, so translation does not work in many cases. it is a language that we have adopted. It is not the language which has born out of our soil. So the language that is natural to us, that is our strength, our mother tongue, should be utilized in our classrooms alongside second language, that is English. English language is not in the speech community of the students. It is an established fact that once we are in the school, we become English speaking people. But once we leave school, we are back to our roots, our mother tongue. The moment we leave our school campus, we use our local language. So the local language, which is a natural part, which we learn in the informal setting, in families, with friends, in marketplaces, in streets, that should not be wasted. That should not be forgotten. That should be used alongside English. It would not be a cardinal sin to use Hindi in the classroom alongside English. Some amount of mother tongue, if it can help this. I don't say we should be a compulsive user of mother tongue in our classroom. I don't say. Just when required, we should not hesitate. When it is required, we should not hesitate in using it. Now, what is a speech community? What is a community? A community is a group of individuals who share common things between themselves. It is language, it is culture, lifestyle, and so many things. So a speech community means, and a speech community is not pure geography. I would like to tell you, my dear teachers, it is not pure geography. Suppose, what is the speech community of English speaking people? It is scattered all over the world. Some people, English speaking people live in India, some in the United States, many, UK, Australia, New Zealand, West Indies, Canada, several places. So they all combine together, make English speech community. Okay, so this is a speech community. So English is not in the speech community of the students. In their community life, English does not exist. Now, question is that we should use bilingualism or multilingualism in the classrooms. Question is, how good are we? Do we have fair command on both the languages? हम हिंदी पढ़ाएंगे, हिंदी यूज करेंगे क्लासरूम में, हमारी हिंदी कितनी अच्छी है? हम इंग्लिश के जगह जगह के बदले कहीं कहीं हिंदी यूज करेंगे, हमारी इंग्लिश कितनी अच्छी है? ये दोनों बात भी तो इंपॉर्टेंट बनता है. तो ये हमारा चैलेंज है बाइलिंगुअलिज्म कि हमें दोनों भाषा पर फेयर कमांड होना चाहिए. कौन पढ़ाएगा, कौन पढ़ेगा, ये दोनों की बात है. तो दोनों ही मामले में ये बात को देखना पड़ेगा कि हमारे पढ़ने वाले और पढ़ाने वाले दोनों का इस दोनों भाषा पर कितना कमांड है, और इसी पर ये सारा चीज निर्भर करेगा कि हाउ इफेक्टिव वी आर इन द क्लासरूम्स. सो देयर आर 3 grades or 3 levels of bilingualism. To which category we belong is decided here. They are subordinate bilinguals, coordinate bilinguals, compound bilinguals. Subordinate bilinguals, coordinate bilinguals, and compound bilinguals, who are called subordinate bilinguals. We teachers, I think most of us, have studied in English medium schools and colleges. Can you recall how did our English teachers teach English? How did our English teachers teach English? Other subjects were taught in mother tongue, no doubt about this. How did our English teachers teach English? They used Hindi translation. So we learned English through translation method. early on in our life, early on in our student life. So our teachers translated the text like this. There was a king, एक राजा था. He had 3 daughters. उनकी 3 बेटियां थी. So translation was done in the classroom. Profusely, extensively. Translation was done in the classroom. So such learners who depend on translation are called subordinate bilinguals, because such learners are neither good in English nor in Hindi, their mother tongue. Because they believe in translating things, word for word translation. Then they understand English. So they understand English through Hindi. And bilingualism or multilingualism does not mean translation only. It is using language, different languages as per the requirements. Okay, dear teachers. So subordinate bilinguals are people who translate English to Hindi, from Hindi to English. Then comes coordinate bilinguals. Who are coordinate bilinguals? Coordinate bilinguals are not the translation people. They use English when English is required, when they are comfortable in English, and they use Hindi when they are comfortable in Hindi. But this does not mean that they can use any of these 2 languages with command in all kinds of situations. They are people who use these 2 languages as per their abilities. There are thoughts, there are ideas they can't explain in English, so they will use Hindi there. There are thoughts and ideas which they can't explain in Hindi, so they will use some English there, a smattering of English there. So they are called partially competent bilinguals. And last one, compound bilinguals are the people who are masters of the 2 languages, quite proficient, quite competent in 2 languages. They can express any thought, any idea as per their choice, whether it is Hindi or English. They are not constrained by the languages. They are so good in both the languages that in one language, one of the 2 languages, they can explain anything brilliantly, understand anything quite easily, can use language freely. So these are the 3 stages, and these 3 stages are applicable to teachers as well as students. Okay, moving on. Now, how multilingualism is our resource? In what sense is it our resource? Multilingualism. Is it our resource? So far, we have not tapped into this resource. We have not utilized this resource. Now it is time for us to look at it as a resource and use it. There are few points which support that multilingualism can be used as a resource. A creative language teacher must use multilingualism, a typical Indian linguistic landscape, as a classroom strategy. And I just want to tell you what is Indian landscape, linguistic landscape. India has a variety of languages. And while teaching science or social science or maths or Western sciences, these languages are forgotten because they are not good enough to handle the topics and content areas of these subjects. Now, we have to break the shackles. We have to break the shackles of English here. So whenever we are teaching any difficult topic in social science, science or maths, let us have a recourse to our mother tongue or our local language. So Indian landscape is quite rich. This is also a way of ensuring that every child feels secure and that no one is left behind on account of his linguistic. Suppose a student is very good in Hindi, a student is very good in Malayalam, and very good in Gujarati. That should not be his handicap. That should not become his drawback or lacuna. That should be his strength. If he is allowed to use that language which he has brought to school free. So no student should not be left behind because his English is not good, because his second language is not good. Any second language, English or any other language, is not good. So we should help them to catch up with those who are very good in second language. Language subsumes multilingualism, bilingualism. Monolingualism is artificiality. I have told you in the beginning that anybody who is monolingual and does not want to use any other language, it is not natural. Monolingual. So language means more than one or two languages. It includes in it. Probably we could not have learned English in India if we did not have Hindi or our mother tongues. So language is not always one language. It means several languages, many languages. Multilingualism, bilingualism confer definite cognitive advantage. Now, what is cognitive advantage? You must have heard of Bloom's taxonomy. Cognitive domain. It starts from memory and goes higher up to evaluation, creativity, analysis, application. I will not go into that. You are all pundits there. I know it very well. So cognitive advantage, because some students are not good in the second language, they are good in their first language, in their mother tongue. They are disadvantaged in English medium schools or where English is the medium of instruction. They feel disadvantaged. So this creates, first they will master the language, then they will learn the topic, then they will use the topic. This is a big problem. So we should make the life easier for the students. Bilingualism or multilingualism, lingual people are capable of greater cognitive flexibility and creativity and perform better academically than monolingual. It becomes flexible for us. We have many options at our disposal. We have so many options at our disposal. Okay, so this makes us flexible and creative, and academically such students perform better. I tell you, I am an English language teacher. Most of my in my student days, I studied in English Hindi medium schools and colleges, and I am teaching English here. How am I able to do this? How did I learn English? I tell you that my mother tongue definitely helped me in learning English better. In the beginning, we had some problems because I was a translation person or a dictionary man. But later on, my Hindi was already naturalized, and English also got naturalized. So, but to begin with, my mother tongue helped me because this is what I had. Okay, fine. Moving on. So in classroom situations, these are some of the topics. Actually, I have only sampled them. I have brought some examples for you all. Social science, the word is sovereignty. Its meaning is samprabhuta. How will you explain sovereignty using Hindi and English both? If students are unable to understand sovereignty in English, how can we make them understand in Hindi? If not in Hindi, how can we do it in English? It's a question for us. How can we define sovereignty? What is sovereignty? What is sovereignty? As far as my knowledge goes, I am not a social science teacher. I am entering altogether a new domain. Forgive me if I am wrong, but sovereignty, according to me, which I learned from I learned in my childhood, that when a country is completely free with regard to its external and internal policies, that country is called sovereign. Was India a sovereign country before 1947? No, India was not a sovereign country. India was not free to go to war with any country or sign a treaty with any country. Did India participate in Second World War on its own? No. India was used as a resource by Britain in Second World War. But now Russia has attacked Ukraine. Now India has its own foreign policy, its own viewpoint on the issue. We can decide what is good for us. So actually, how can we explain this topic to the students who have not come across such ideas as sovereignty? हमारे कितने बच्चे समझते हैं sovereignty क्या है? इसको कैसे आसान बनाएं मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म के जरिए? कितने बच्चे जानते हैं? सॉवरेंटी कोई साधारण टॉपिक नहीं है. अच्छे अच्छे बड़े लोग भी को भी समझ में नहीं आती है. इसका अर्थ कुछ और समझ लेते हैं. हम अपने बच्चों को मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म के जरिए कैसे बताएंगे कि ये सॉवरेंटी का मतलब ये होता है या संप्रभुता क्या होता है, किस राष्ट्र को स्वयंभू कहा जाता है, कैसे जानेंगे, कैसे बताएंगे क्लासरूम में? ये टॉपिक आपका है, आपका क्लासरूम है, आपको ये कन्फ्रंट करना होगा, इसको हैंडल करना होगा. आपके बच्चे के पास मदर टंग है, थोड़ा बहुत इंग्लिश है, आप इस टॉपिक को कैसे एक्सप्लेन करेंगे? तो यहां पर अगर हम इंग्लिश के अलावा बच्चे का मदर टंग यूज करेंगे तो हो सकता है कि हम इस टॉपिक को बेहतर पढ़ा सकते हैं, इसका कंसेप्ट बेहतर हम क्लियर कर सकते हैं. इज इट पॉसिबल? यस. So many things pass over their heads. We teach in English and they are unable to understand. So in between, we have to use their resource, their mother tongue, their experience. They have brought something to the classroom. Coercion, there is another word. This word is used. Can we use this word for threatening someone? Or this word has different connotation? Connotation आप समझते हैं, एक शब्द का दो शब्द का एक ही मीनिंग हो सकता है, लेकिन फिर भी दोनों मीनिंग अलग अलग है. एक रहते हुए भी उसका सिचुएशन अलग अलग होता है. क्या सर? दोनों शब्द का, जैसे इस शब्द का इस्तेमाल हम किसी व्यक्ति को पर्सनल धमकी देने के लिए नहीं कर सकते. ये अंग्रेज के जमाने में जब ब्रिटिश हमारे ऊपर हुकूमत करते थे, they used coercion. They terrorized us through state missionaries, through laws like Rowlatt Act. Anybody can be arrested without any reason, without the case being filed against him, at will. Press censorship. Yes, no. No wakil, no appeal, no dalil. This was coercion. लेकिन आप जब if you get under the skin of this topic, then you will be able to teach the students. Then even multilingualism will be a struggle for you. You will not be comfortable with them. So, and using only English, such terms, I think it is an uphill task for the teachers as well as for students. More for students, less for teachers, but problem is there. एक्ट अधिनियम, ये एक्ट अधिनियम बन गया, ये लॉ पास हो गया. बिल क्या होता है, एक्ट क्या होता है, इसको समझाने में अगर हम एक्ट का अर्थ अधिनियम बता भी दिए तो भी हमको अपने लैंग्वेज से दोनों को एक्सप्लेन करना होगा. एक्ट का मतलब एक्शन भी होता है, काम भी होता है. इट वॉज ए बैड एक्ट, ही एक्टेड वेरी इररिस्पॉन्सिबली. तो बच्चे को तो एक एक्ट मालूम है, उसको एक्टिंग भी मालूम है कि एक्ट से एक्टिंग भी होता है, जो हम ड्रामा करते हैं, जो एक्टिंग करते हैं, रोल प्ले करते हैं। तो इस एक्ट का अधिनियम के सेंस में क्या अर्थ होगा? अधिनियम भी हिंदी वर्ड है, ये भी काफी ऊंचे स्तर का दिख रहा है। ये बच्चा के स्पीच कम्युनिटी में नहीं है अधिनियम। अधिनियम सुना होगा उसने माता पिता को बोलते हुए, लेकिन अधिनियम होता क्या है? इसके लिए हमको कुछ और लैंग्वेज यूज करना पड़ेगा, दोनों लैंग्वेज यूज करना पड़ेगा, मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म यूज करना पड़ेगा, बायलिंगुअलिज्म यूज करना पड़ेगा। तो कैसे होगा? दिस इज द चैलेंज फॉर अस। हम बोल दिए, I suggested to you that let us be multilingual, let us be bilinguals, but it is not easier said than done. We need to practice. We should give ourselves practice. Then it can happen. Another word is livelihood, ajivika. Ajivika is also a difficult Hindi word. So we can translate it how? आजीविका को हम कर सकते हैं रोजी रोटी, रोजगारी, कमाना, कमाई। तो इस प्रकार के भाषा का जब हम प्रयोग करेंगे क्लासरूम में, तो बच्चों को समझने में सहूलियत होगी। आजीविका का प्रश्न उठ गया, उसकी आजीविका अच्छी नहीं थी, तो इसको बोल देंगे क्लासरूम में तो बच्चे समझ पाएंगे? हमको कहना पड़ेगा कि लाइवलीहुड मीन्स रोजी रोटी, कमाई। So we have to use some local language, some dialects also, to make the things clearer. But if we stick to English only and explain livelihood, then I think we shall be explaining and explaining, and fewer students will understand the things. Now, next word is inscriptions. शिलालेख, दोनों में से कोई साधारण नहीं है मीनिंग। कोई अगर ये सोचता है कि हिंदी एक बहुत ही सरल भाषा है, तो आई थिंक दैट पर्सन इज मिस्टेकन। हिंदी एट टाइम्स कैन बी मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स देन इंग्लिश। अगर हम कहें कि हम धूम्र सकट विश्रामालय जा रहे हैं, तो बहुत कम लोगों को समझ में आएगी। अगर हम कहें स्टेशन जा रहे हैं, ज्यादा समझ में आएगी कि नहीं? तो ये प्रॉब्लम है हमारे साथ, और अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी है। ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज हम कहेंगे इसको कि इसमें हमको उस भाषा का प्रयोग करने का पूरा अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा जो भाषा हमारा लोकल भाषा है, आंचलिक भाषा, our dialects, our local languages. So what do you mean by inscriptions? Now you will have to tell them rock inscriptions by Ashoka. During Ashoka's time, when Ashoka ruled our country, he asked people to inscribe or create rock inscriptions at different parts of the country, and that will give message to the people. In those days, we did not have mobile sets, we did not have internet. So rock inscriptions will tell the people what is the order from the top and what does the king want people to do. How could people know that wildlife should be preserved? What are the messages of Buddhism? What is Dhamma? All these things, Ashoka inscriptions are famous all over the world. Ashoka pillars, Ashoka inscriptions. So how will you teach these topics? How will you make them understand what do they mean by inscriptions? What are inscriptions? Excuse me. So we have to be a very good judge here. Like an informed decision maker, we have to decide which language to use and when. We shall decide, and what is good for the students. I'm not suggesting that keep translating everything. Multilingualism is not translation. It is using different languages, different mediums of instruction, different languages for the purpose of better understanding on the part of the students. The topic should be clearer to the students, their concept should be clear. and we have to decide when to use which language. We can have recourse to Hindi, we can have recourse to English, we can have recourse to our dialect, even Angika, if required. So these are some of the issues. These are the real classroom problems. And I have collected all these things. They are only samples, but I have collected with the help of my fellow teachers. I am thankful to them that they cooperated with me and made these things available, because I am not a social science teacher, but my social science teacher was good enough to give me these topics, these words, which are confusing to the students, and they need multilingual formula, multilingualism in the classroom to understand these difficult topics. Okay, so some more things are coming. Now I switch over to maths. Maths. So here are some problems in maths. Excuse me. Yes, here is a maths question. What will you get if 13 is subtracted from 38? What will you get if 13 is subtracted from 38? My learned teachers, I would like to tell you, this question is for class 2 students. This question is for class 2 students. Now, what problem will he have? Is the math problem difficult for class 2 students? Content wise, is this math problem any problem for class 2 students? No, not at all. It is subtraction. But what is the problem is the statement here. That statement is, what will you get if 13 is subtracted from 38? It is in English. And a student, any class 2 student who is not so good in English will have this problem. Despite the fact he can solve this problem, he will not be able to. Because language is the barrier here. This is the obstacle. It is like a mountain before him. He can't climb it. Because problem is on the other side of the mountain. पहाड़ के उस पार, पहले लैंग्वेज का पहाड़ चढ़ेगा, तब उस पार उतरेगा, तब इस मैथ को सॉल्व करेगा. This is the problem of second language. I don't blame second language, because our situations are such. We, the people of India, our children are facing a peculiar situation here. He is not an Englishman or an English woman. He is an Indian child. And he has to solve this sum when he is in class 2. What was he taught? Did his mommy teach him? Your papa is your father. Call him father, not papa. You should wash your hands before eating anything. माँ तो बोले कि बच्चे हाथ धो लो खाने के पहले. ये तो उसको कभी नहीं कहा गया. वो बच्चा स्कूल में आके उसको जब ये कहा जाएगा कि वॉश योर हैंड्स बिफोर ईटिंग एनीथिंग, it is a new statement, new language for him. He has not heard it before. Most of the students, अपने दिल पर हाथ रखकर देखिए कि कितना बच्चा हमारे स्कूल में ऐसा आता है जिसको ये सब चीज पहले से मालूम है. Now, सो क्या इसमें करना होगा, ये प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व होगा? तो यहाँ पर हम बच्चे को ये कहेंगे कि अगर 38 में से 13 को घटाया जाएगा तो कितना आएगा, ये बताने में कौन सा पाप है? Will it be a cardinal sin? No, it will not be a cardinal sin. It will not be a cardinal sin. We can use Hindi here or local language here. He is only a class 2. इस हिसाब में तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि ये हिसाब घुसा हुआ है लैंग्वेज के अंदर, इंग्लिश के अंदर. एंड चाइल्ड डज नॉट हैव एनी पास्ट रिसोर्स ऑफ इंग्लिश. He is not carrying this to his classroom. And what this problem is doing, that thought of this question, the content of this question is not important. The biggest problem before the student is to understand what the question asks. Then he will be able to reply what the question has asked. So first he will grapple with how the question has been asked, then what does the question ask. He will have to fight on two fronts. There are two layers here. एक प्रश्न है ये लैंग्वेज को समझना, और दूसरा प्रश्न है कि ये प्रश्न मांगता क्या है. This is the cognitive challenge, and we are putting so much pressure on little ones. Similarly, the second question is like that. It is also a subtraction question, but we are putting pressure on our students. So how can we solve? Our schools will remain English medium schools. Medium of instruction will remain English. But we as a teacher should step in and try to make it possible for the students, using their own resource, using their mother tongue, we can make learning easier for them. In this way, our students will be good in both the languages, L2 and L1, both the languages. They will be comfortable. हम ये नहीं चाहते कि उसका इंग्लिश कमजोर हो जाए हिंदी के चलते, दोनों अच्छा हो. लेकिन by making English difficult for them and making it monolingual, we are not making their life easy, and they will give up. That's why it is my belief that many students are not performing well in maths, not because they are weak in calculations, but because they are weak in English. Because they are not allowed to use their mother tongue. They have to understand everything in English, and English, they are not quite well off in this language. They are not quite proficient in English. Naturally, they should not be, because they are Indians. They face problems. Fewer students do well in maths. Mostly they struggle. And I think language is to blame also, because they have to do everything in English. This is also, English has its responsibility here. So teachers can step in with the mother tongue of the students and explain in Hindi. No harm. They will solve in English, no problem. But their concepts will be quite clear. So these are some of the things. I thought that I will have some live audience here. So I would have given you some handouts, but I am unable to. Okay, they are from different background. Mostly they are science teachers, I can see. They are maths teachers, one or two social science teachers, and that's why if they had been all language teachers or social science teachers, I would have given them handouts. Okay, later on, I will give them, and many teachers are connected with me on online platform. So this is what I have to tell you. So I request everybody to think of multilingualism, bilingualism, okay, and try to make their life easy. I mean, students' life easy in the classroom, learning easy by using their mother tongue, because their mother tongue is the biggest resource that they have. And why not use this resource? Don't let this resource remain unutilized. Let us utilize students' resource, and I think it will work wonders for us. I'm sure this will work wonders for us, and our classroom will be a different classroom. So please don't hesitate. Even in our National Education Policy 2020, government has stressed upon multilingualism, and so we should use multilingualism, bilingualism in our classrooms, and I'm sure our students will learn better. So we shall be using their resource, and we should also try to develop our multilingualism. We should be good, not only good in English, but good in our mother tongue also, and try to say use both the resources in tandem, one after the other. The techniques are like switching code. Like in Bollywood movies, you see that people use English, Hindi and English in quick succession, one after the other. We can use in our classrooms. Then like say translanguaging. What is translanguaging? Suppose there are 5 or 6 paragraphs in a topic. So we can teach one topic in one paragraph in English, then second one in Hindi, then third one in English, again the fourth one in Hindi. So we can do it. So translanguaging, switching code, all these techniques we can use, and we are quite expert in these areas. So teacher as a very informed decision makers, teachers can use multilingualism in classroom, and I'm sure the classroom scenario will definitely change, and we will have better classrooms. So we should use students' resource, students' language. Thank you for bearing with me, for listening to me patiently. Thank you all. Wish you a happy day, and please enjoy the session. And I'm sure our classrooms, you will carry what you learn here to your classrooms, and it will start producing results. I'm sure it will all start producing results for us, good results for us. So thank you. Have a nice day.
Once again, many thanks to Mr. Hira Kumar Singh, who has taught us embracing multilingualism in classroom. Our next session will start just 5 minutes after. So 5 minutes past 11, we will gather here for our next session.